Honorable Anthony Garcia, Minister of Education. Her Excellency Carla Hogan Ruffles, High Commissioner for Canada. Mr. Dion Abdul, Chair, Trinidad and Tobago Transparency Institute. Mrs. Rafiana Ali Budu Singh, President, National Council of Parent-Teacher Association. Dr. Jennifer Sancho, Chief Executive Officer, United Way. Ms. Rachel Juman, Branch Manager for Citizens. Principals, teachers, parents, students. The question may be asked, what is a school integrity club? What is the raison d'etre of the school integrity club? As I see it, the school integrity club is a unit within a school population consisting of teachers and students striving towards the common goal of providing for students a non-academic and pragmatic approach to the attainment of positive attitudes and values. It is expected that students will be enabled to influence other students to abandon negative behavioral patterns and at the same time to adopt high moral and ethical standards. No doubt you would have encountered this description before, perhaps in a different form, but its repetition is demanded by the sheer weight and importance of this project. The utility of the integrity clubs has been recognized and promoted as far afield as India, Kenya, and Ghana, and as near home as Jamaica. We in Trinidad and Tobago also embrace this extraordinary concept. And today, we have the official launch of our School Integrity Club pilot project. This pilot project is considered necessary in order that we might adopt, amongst other things, the most effective and practical channels that would ensure the viability and durability of the integrity clubs. 6 pilot schools have been selected from across the country, and an integrity club has been established in each of them. From amongst the students of each of the pilot schools, 5 schools ambassadors have been selected. The school ambassadors were given special training by officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Transparency Institute and the Integrity Commission. And even a cursory reading of the various schedules would reveal the depth and breadth of this training. At one session, for example, under the objective leadership, some of the topics were types of leadership, qualities of a leader, skills of a leader. Under the objective of communication/advocacy, some of the topics were verbal communications to inspire change, paralanguage, tone, and body language. Under the objective of useful strategies to achieve objectives, some of the topics were case study, visual aids, effects of competition, problem solving. And this was not the entire program. There can be no doubt that the training that these school ambassadors received was thorough and professional. And this is as it should be. I now pay tribute to these school ambassadors. All of them, 30 I think, selected by principals and deans of the respective schools for their exemplary and outstanding conduct and high moral standing. These school ambassadors are stars of the first magnitude of their schools and are worthy of the title ambassadors. I salute their courage, their selflessness, their deep sense of duty and responsibility in assuming this very challenging position. No fear constrained them as they took a stand for integrity. No apprehension assailed their minds as they came forward to confront corruption. No indecision supervened as they contemplated the demands of the task that laid to their hands. Not so. Rather, they were inspired by the lofty desire to preside over the improvement and indeed the upliftment of the ethical standards of their fellow students, and simultaneously to inveigh against the corrosiveness of corruption. I extol these brave and patriotic students, and they have my full and unqualified approbation. Can we hear it for them, please? The philosophy of our school integrity clubs, blending and intermingling with that of other school integrity clubs in other countries of the world, can be compendiously described as the counteraction and eventual eradication of indiscipline and antisocial and cognate behavior and violence existing in our schools on the one hand, and on the other, the promotion of the exalted ideals of respect, fairness, compassion, integrity, honesty, patriotism, and responsibility. Now, this dovetails with my description of the integrity clubs announced earlier in my address. Science tells us that integrity is not congenital. Integrity is not part of DNA. It is fundamentally a state of mind, and therefore it forms the subject of a deliberate choice that one makes for oneself. And that choice is the veneration of moral, ethical, and spiritual values and principles. The concept is to incorporate students in the integrity clubs whilst they are still young and their minds are still malleable and receptive. When these values have been thoroughly ingrained in their minds, when they grow with these values uppermost in their minds, when integrity becomes a word freighted with positive meaning and significance, when the word corruption conjures up in their minds revulsion, disgust, and contempt, then we would well be on our way to establishing that elusive society that is free from corruption and rich in morals and ethics. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the children of today will be the adults of tomorrow. In a speech I delivered at the prize-giving function of the poster design project of the Integrity Commission in July of this year, I stated, and I quote, "I have arrived at the settled conclusion that we must involve the young people in our struggle against corruption and our maintenance of integrity in our society. They are clearly ready to be involved. They will be the future Trinidad and Tobago, and must be given an opportunity to contribute to the configuration of their future society, unquote. I consider these words to be opposite to the school integrity clubs. I have one observation. I am of the view that along with the implementation of the project, consideration should be given to a follow-up plan. This is to ensure that the ideals, the values, the principles that the students adopted and observed whilst they were in school should be given full opportunity to flourish and prosper when they are out of the school environment. They cannot be left alone to keep their heads above water. They cannot be left alone to fend for themselves. They would need support. The homes, the communities, the churches, the NGOs, the media could all play crucial roles in assisting and supporting those students in maintaining the values, the moral and ethical standards, the principles for which they had high regard and which they cherished whilst they were in school. I consider this follow-up plan to be of cardinal importance for these young people. It would be crass and unforgivable negligence on my part were I to close without making special mention of certain individuals who quietly, albeit effectively, operated behind the scenes and collectively gave this project impetus and thereafter continuing momentum. I acknowledge the Minister of Education, the principals of the pilot schools, the Integrity Club champion teachers of the pilot schools, and by no means least, the parents. It was their willingness, their foresight, their commitment, and ultimately their fiat that made this entire project a reality. I thank them for their invaluable assistance and support, and I entreat them to continue in this very generous and considerate vein. I've reposed no small amount of faith and hope in the School Integrity Club project. May this pilot project go on to be a resounding success, and may its termination in June 2019 herald the establishment of school integrity clubs in all secondary schools nationwide. After the integrity clubs are up and running in all secondary schools, we would turn our attention to the primary schools. Because, after all, there is where it all begins. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot fail these children. We must not fail these children. Because it is these children who will ultimately save Trinidad and Tobago from moral implosion. I thank you very much indeed for your attention.